So you clicked on this video. I'm assuming you want to now confront the elephant in the room, which is your people-pleasing tendencies. Let's just be real. You have people-pleasing-itis and you have all the symptoms, babes. All the symptoms. And you're looking for a remedy, a solution. And don't worry, good sis, I got you, okay? As a former people-pleaser, like, I have come a very long way. So I'm going to give you my tips on how I stopped being a people pleaser. Tip number one, don't let things slide. I used to be the girl who, if someone made a joke and I didn't like it, I would laugh. Don't know why. I never found them funny, but I would laugh. And I would smile and just chuckle it off. As if, it didn't hurt my feelings, or as if I found it funny when I didn't. One thing I can't stand now, in my grown age, I'm not even that grown, but in my grown age, laughing at jokes that I don't find funny. I can't do it anymore. Especially if it's something so stupid or something just ignorant. Like, we're in 2025. What are you doing? I will really just start looking at people like this. Because what compelled you? What possessed you? So yeah, I have like subcategories under each of these tips. So yeah, for what I do is I like to confront the red flags. So confronting the red flags doesn't mean that you have to, go at the person and get up all in their face. I've definitely done that before, trust and believe. I've had my crash out moments, don't be like me. But you don't have to cuss them out, okay? You don't have to cuss them out, you don't have to yell at them. There's ways to confront people, and I used to think that confrontation was like a negative thing and a negative trait just because I associated it with being aggressive, and that's not the case. That's not the case. In many forms of the media that we see confrontation as an aggressive thing, but it really doesn't have to be that way. You could just come, talk to them politely, in a tone that doesn't seem condescending. You never want to be condescending, and just speak regularly, like how I'm speaking to y'all. Speak to them like that. It doesn't have to be like a big rah rah thing, and no, it doesn't. No, why? For what? That's not going to do anything. People are not going to want to listen to you. So yeah, confront the red flags and confront them when they happen. In person, it's always the best, I feel like, and yeah, just do it right then and there. Now, obviously, don't make it in a way where it's like, oh, if it's something public and you're around people, you do it in front of all those people. What you're never trying to do is embarrass somebody. You're never gonna be that girl that tries to embarrass people. That's not the goal. That's not what you're working towards. You just want a common, you just want to reach a common solution. Okay? So what you're not going to do is, if it is a public setting, you're going to quietly collect them, pull them away, say, hey, can I talk to you privately? And, go into another room, go into another hallway if you need to, do whatever you gotta do. Mind you, we're still on point number one, okay? Another thing that I did, stop dismissing your feelings. Stop dismissing your feelings. I was that girl who used to dismiss my feelings, which is why I had my crash out era and my crash out days. And I hate using that word so unironically. It feels so very online Gen Z TikTok lingo. No. Anyways, if you hear any noise, that's my grandma. Ignore her. Anyways, so when you dismiss your feelings, here's what happens. I'm gonna just lay it out to you guys. Number one, you bottle them up. You bottle every single thing that person has done to piss you off. You bottle it up. I'm telling you right now, it stays in your heart, and guess what? You start being resentful. Don't be like me, because I used to be that way, and I used to bottle it up, and then I would have resent towards that person. Don't be resentful. Don't. And then number two, like I said, you explode. Okay, when it gets too much and you just have had enough with that person and you feel like you want to strangle them, that's when you explode. And it just goes terribly wrong. It does. Don't do that, because it just doesn't get anything solved. It's not, you don't gain anything from it, honestly. Um, Next. Stop giving people the benefit of a doubt and excusing their behavior, because if the roles were reversed, you know fully well they would not be excusing any of the weird, um, even if it was like minor or subtle disses, or you know whatever you want to call it, microaggressions. You know fully well they would not take that behavior. They'll be like, huh? Oh, you're acting weird. How dare you? They will call you out so quickly, so fast. Like, if you, especially with the people that you're dealing with, if you know they wouldn't have that type of compassion, empathy, and all that towards you, why are you, you know, giving them the benefit of a doubt? Why are you dismissing their behavior? For what? For what? Like, and obviously you have to have discernment on when to dismiss, um, not dismiss, on when to give people the benefit of a doubt, because, for example, like if it's a situation where you know somebody who, for example, English isn't their first language, and you know they said something that was derogatory, like they said the R slur, right? And they didn't realize it was something that, you know, can hurt people. They didn't know the history, they didn't know the meaning, they didn't know the cultural context, they knew nothing behind that word, but they said it. That's when you give people the benefit of the doubt. Now obviously you would go and explain to them like, hey, what you said was not okay. Hey, using that word is not right. Here's why, because blah 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 blah. And you would tell them. And that's when you give them the benefit of the doubt, because you knew that they weren't purposely using that word to hurt anybody. They weren't. But now here's where discernment comes in. If they continue using that word even after you explain to them, and now they're no longer ignorant, that's when you know, okay, you're doing this on purpose. You don't care. So, yeah, stop giving people the benefit of a doubt, and always remember, like, your words are defined by the impact they make, not the intentions behind them, okay? So it goes vice versa. So let's say you said something, right? You were in a conversation, you said some joke, but that person didn't appreciate it, right? And they told you. That's not where you now dismiss their feelings and you're like, oh, it was just a joke, like it was just something minor, minuscule. No, you don't do that to them. You know fully well you wouldn't like somebody doing that to you. Why are you doing that to them? So, yeah, it goes both ways, honestly. Um, and even though you didn't have like bad intentions behind, you know, what you said, at the end of the day, it's the impact that matters. That person's feelings was hurt. So acknowledge it. Just like how you'd want other people to acknowledge your feelings being hurt. Next. Oh wait, I forgot one more thing. People will start calling you sensitive. Just know that people will throw that word around when you start being someone who is confrontational, who doesn't let things slide, who doesn't let sneak disses, you know, just fly off into the wind. You will be known as that person who's sensitive. People will throw that word in your face. I've had that thrown in my face. And you know what? So be it. If you think I'm sensitive, oh well. Oh well. And you know, the only mindset that I have towards that is that anybody who is calling me sensitive for now, telling them why what they did hurt my feelings, I take that as, oh, okay, you're just someone who doesn't have the guts to stick up for yourself. That's why you're calling me sensitive. That's what it comes across to me. Because it's not giving that you care about yourself enough. It's not. Or else you wouldn't be calling me sensitive for caring about myself and my feelings. Oh well. So yeah, that's point number one. There's a lot of stuff under there, but that's point number one. Point number two, stop following the crowd, okay? So stop following the crowd can mean like many things. For me, the three main stuff is have your own opinions and don't be afraid to voice them, okay? And number two, don't let anybody make you feel embarrassed for your hobbies, your interests, your likes, all of that. And number three would be get to know people. So I'm going to break these down step by step. So for what I first said about, you know, being able to voice your opinions, right? I don't know about y'all, but I like to be in friendships where I know that if my friend tells me something, they told me, oh, you know, me and such got into an argument, blah, 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 da, 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 they said da, 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 da. I already know that as they're speaking to me, I can be like, hey, you know, I think you could have worded this differently. I think you could have said this instead of this, right? I think maybe what you said here was inappropriate for the context, for the moment. I think, that escalated the situation, or that hurt their feelings even more. Now that's why you guys have fallen out. I am able to honestly tell them where they could have gone wrong, right? And I love those type of dynamics. I want that for me too. I don't want it to be where, like, oh, my friends are all trying to butter up to me, kiss up to me, and nobody tells me what I did wrong. Absolutely not. That's not true friendship. That's not friends that care about you and want to go out of their way to make sure that you're good, to make sure that you're growing. That's not a friendship that you will grow in anyways. Let's just start there. So, have your own opinions. Don't be afraid to voice them. Let your friends know, hey, I think you were wrong for doing such and such, or for doing this and this and that. It shouldn't now escalate into an argument, and now they're mad at you for telling them how you felt about what they did, or for letting them know that they were wrong. What you mean? You can't hold yourself accountable? What? That's weird. Very weird. So, yeah. The next part. Oh yes, interests and hobbies. I've gone through this, but I will just say, don't let people make you ashamed of, like, for example, like, I remember when I was younger, I don't know if, or even, maybe even before, like, I was born, and, you were in school, maybe you were in middle school, elementary, and let's say you liked anime, right? Anime had a stigma towards it. You could get bullied for liking anime. People call you a nerd and this and that, and try to make it seem like you're a weirdo. Just because you like something in a different language that came from a different damn country. People be so xenophobic. It's weird. Same thing with K-pop. Now for me, I was ignorant. I want to say, grade 8 is when I first kind of learned about K-pop. So I definitely said some things where I probably shouldn't have said them. And I do definitely see where I was wrong now. And my friend was the one who actually got into K-pop before I did. And so me now, when I transitioned into liking K-pop, I was like, oh, so this is what y'all was going through, because there is a stigma. People do be weird. I will never forget this one time. And mind you, I'm still friends with her. Like, I have no beef with her or anything, but she knew that I like K-pop, and she was like, oh, so, like, are you obsessed with, like, them Asian dudes? Girl, what? Just because I like K-pop? Like, people make all these assumptions, have all these stereotypes, and it's weird. So what I will say, don't, and if you feel like you have to now, like, dumb that part of your, stuttering, if you feel like you have to dumb down that side of you, that part of you, when you're around your friends, maybe get a new friend group. Because if you know that they're going to make fun of you, they're going to shame you, they're going to try and embarrass you, they're going to talk behind your back afterwards about it, they're going to think, oh, she's such a weirdo, and they're going to judge you. You don't need people like that in your life. Cut them off, babes. Bye. Bye, Felicia. Finito. Deuces. Like, gone with the wind. I'm so fast. Like, where's my infinity stones? I'm gone. So, yeah, I would say don't make people make you feel that way. That's weird. And if you can't openly be true to yourself in your hobbies and your interests around your friends, evaluate your group. Evaluate who you let into your space. Okay, and then the third part of that was just, oh yes, get to know people before letting your friends influence you on whether you should like them or not. One thing I cannot stand, one thing that is personally a pet peeve of mine, is people who do not have minds of their own. People who just follow the crowd, and if they see that one girl in the classroom is getting hate, all of them follow suit and start hating that one girl. You don't even know the girl. You don't know her from a can of paint, babes. You don't know her. What you mad at her for? She ain't done nothing to you. It's giving very much pressed and obsessed. Jealousy is not a cute look on you, babes. Envy is not a cute look on you. And let me stop. I'm getting triggered. But because this has happened to me. Like, people, like, let me not even go into that. But look, if your friend, and let's say you really trust this friend, right? If your friend is saying, like, oh, I don't really have a good vibe about this person, or I don't really like such and such, and they say, like, oh, I don't like such and such because A, B, C, D, all right, keep that in your head. Keep that in your Abdullah Oblongata. Keep it in your head, right? Now, you're not going to dismiss what she said, you're going to keep it in mind. But at the same time, it is perfectly okay and alright for you to go out your way and actually talk to them, meet them, see what they're like, and see what vibes they give you for yourself. Suss it out for yourself, you know? Don't just let people tell you how to think about others. That's weird. That's minion behavior. You're weird for that. I can't stand it. Okay. Next, point number 3, tap into your intuition. Okay, babes? Tap into it, because if you don't, you will go through much more than you need to. Save yourself the trouble, okay? For example, if someone's asking you a favor, right? And, you know, let's say it's about money, because I've definitely gone through this, so I'm just going to use some of my real life examples. I had met this girl and she had asked, and you know, we were friends like before this, right? Before this happened. She had told me she was in an emergency situation. She needed like $80, and you know, obviously I'm always the type of friend where I'm like, hey, if you need help, like, you can come to me. I will try my best. I will blah 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 blah. So obviously, in the name of keeping my word and just wanting to be a good friend, I had given her the money. But I did ask her, I was like, hey, you know, like, what do you need this money for? You know, don't be afraid to ask the good questions. Like, I asked her, I was like, hey, like, what's the situation? Are you okay? What's the emergency? Because she never elaborated. And I should have known. This was the first red flag. She never told me what the emergency was. She just told me it was an emergency. I was like, okay. I'll take your word for it, but don't do that. Because if I had listened to my intuition, but guess what? I was still able to get my money back even after she ghosted me, but some people are not able to. I was just fortunate enough to get my money back, my $80, the hard-earned money that I, you know, worked for. But that's just to say that if you see the red flags, if you have a bad feeling about something, don't feel the need to, like, oh, because you want to be generous, because you want to be empathetic to people's situations, don't feel the need to constantly, like, you know, let down your guard and do the very thing that you had a bad feeling about. You don't need to put yourself in those situations. And trust me, I've been through it once. Never again. Never again. No, you will not play with my time, my money, no, absolutely the hell not. Another example of just learning to trust your intuition would be like, oh, if you have a longtime friend and they've been talking about this one friend that they've been friends with for years, and you know, they really want you to meet them, and you finally met them, and the vibe you get from them is giving, girl, how did you become friends with her? Or it's giving, this is not who you described her to be. It's giving false advertisement. It's giving imposter syndrome. If you have any type of vibe feeling towards that person, you don't have to be in proximity to them just because you're her friend and that friend is friends with that person. You don't have to do that to yourself. You don't need to hang out with that person. You know, if you need to distance yourself, okay, by all means. You don't even have to say anything to that friend that you're friends with. You don't even have to voice anything. If she invites you somewhere and that friend you know is going to be there, and you know they're going to be kikiing and, you know, 2 peas in a pod, you can decline the invitation, babes. You don't have to go. Not everything that people invite you to, you need to go to. You don't need to. Sometimes it's good to stay home, okay? Now, I stay home too much. I need to actually get out there, but anyways. Okay, next point. Point number 4, don't be afraid to lose people. Now, with all the things that I said previously, you already know people are about to switch up on you. People are going to have things to say about you. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, like, what happened to her? Why is she so stuck up now? Why is she so dumb? Oh my gosh, girl, you changed so much. What happened? Girl, nothing happened. I just leveled up. I just really decided, oh, okay, I'm tired of being this way. Let me change. That's all there is to it. Or, oh, I'm tired of letting y'all take advantage of me. Clock that. But yeah, people will be like that, and so you have to be okay with being by yourself, because you will lose people. You will lose people on the journey. In the transition period, you will lose people, and so you need to just be optimistic. You can't let that negatively affect how you look at friendships and relationships and things like that, because you need to have an abundance mindset. People come into your life, people go out of your life. Not everybody that comes into your life is here to stay. Some people are there for a period of time, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine, babes. You don't have to try to reel them back in and constantly keep them on a string so they can stay in your life. Some people are only meant for that moment in time, and that's okay. You can outgrow people. That's okay. It's okay to outgrow people. So yeah, that point is more of a shorter one, but yeah, just have an abundance mindset. Just know that, okay, you lose this friend, you'll gain another one in the next 2 weeks or something. And if it's not that soon, that's okay, babes. Just know that the next one that you gain will actually give you more value and insight into your life. And you vice versa. You guys will be both good for each other. It's not about the quantity and how many people you have around you and how many friends you have. It's about the value. It's about the quality. So yeah. Point number 5. Learn to accept apologies. For me, I definitely, even now, I'm still working on this, but I used to be that person, especially if I brought up something to somebody and they apologized, I used to be like, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. That's why you brought it up to them. Duh. Don't be like, oh, it's no problem. No, it was a problem. That's why they're apologizing. They saw that you brought it up to them. They saw that it was hurting your feelings, and so they went out of their way to apologize. Accept it. You're not selfish. You're not, stuck up. You're not this and that. You're not any of those things for accepting an apology. Just be like, hey, okay, they apologize to you, and you be like, hey, thanks for apologizing. I accept your apology. Or, hey, I accept your apology. Just please don't do that again. It's perfectly fine, perfectly normal to say those things. Next, I think that was just it for that one. Number 6. Okay, so this one, me personally, I haven't gone through a lot of peer pressure, but it's definitely something that I have experienced, maybe once or twice. And, in the future I could experience it. And this could be a good reminder for me too. But number 6 is just fight against peer pressure. And the way to fight against peer pressure is just to know who you are as a person. Know your character, know your morals, know your beliefs, know your values, have a compass to go by, have standards for yourself and what you will and will not allow, what you will and will not tolerate. That's the only way that you can fight against peer pressure. I know for me, I will never smoke. You will never in a million years, not even, no, you will never catch me smoking. I don't care what it is. It could be an e-cigarette, it could be a cigarette, it could be weed. You will not catch me smoking. I am not a smoker. That is not something I plan on doing. That is not something I care about. That is not something I have any intentions of doing. And when you know that about yourself, stick to it. Stand on it. Stand on all that business, all 10 toes. Stand on it. Because if someone were to come up to me and have their group of friends and now they're like, oh, they're trying to make fun of me, talking about, oh, you don't smoke, oh, you're such a prude. What? Because, and I will never understand how people can be so pressed about other people not doing the things that they want them to do. What? I will never, that's why peer pressure is an enigma to me. I will never understand it. Because what possessed you? In what world, babes? Here's what I'll tell you about what I think about peer pressure, okay? Anyone that has to use peer pressure to get something, to get you to do something against your will, okay, is only using peer pressure because that's the only manipulation tactic they know, babes. That's the only tactic they know. They're not smart enough to manipulate you by themselves, so they have to get a group of people, recruit people to do their dirty work for them, okay? It's the technique of cowards, and it's pathetic. Keep that in mind. Anytime you feel like you're going through any peer pressure situation, no. For me, another example would be I will never steal. Stealing is beneath me. What do I need to steal for? I'm not a beggar. I'm not poor. God's got me, and I have a job too. And even before I had my job, I didn't feel the need to steal. What am I stealing for? What? What am I stealing for? Stealing is beneath me. That's genuinely how I think about stealing. And because I think about stealing in such a way, you would never catch me stealing anything. No. So yeah, that's just what I have to say about peer pressure. Yeah, you just have to know who you are, and that's why you have to have a good circle around you and a good head on you. Some people, they don't have to they don't have to be reminded of this stuff, right? Because the way that they were raised by their parents or whatnot. And then others, maybe they didn't have those role models. They didn't have those parents to raise them and to tell them right from wrong. So that's where these videos come along. And even if you did have parents to raise you, maybe they're not even, the best role models. Okay? Like, we can't control which family we were born into, from which womb. We can't control that. But we can control our reactions and how we act, how we speak, how we treat people. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all my points for this video. Just know that this is a journey, and you will get people trying to, say like little stuff like, oh, she thinks she's all that, just because you decided not to tolerate people's jokes because for some reason you're always the butt of the joke. It's honestly just wash it off your back. Wash it off your back. Don't even pay them no mind. Okay? There's a reason they're the way they are, and there's a reason their life is going the way it's going. There's a reason they're at that point in their life that they're at. So just focus on you, focus on your journey, and continue forward. That's all I have to say. I hope you guys learned something new, and yeah, I'll catch you guys for the next one. Bye. Okay, I just want to quickly pop in and say something that I forgot. Are we surprised? No. So under point number 1, when it talks about, not letting things slide, an important part of talking right away or speaking out right away when it happens is that, number 1, if you don't do it right away and you wait, you could talk yourself out of not even confronting the situation, and that's not good. Because now you're not communicating. That doesn't solve anything. Number 2, the person that you are trying to confront could then claim that they don't remember. They could fake amnesia. They could pretend. So when they do that, first of all, that's a manipulation tactic, especially if they do remember. And when they do that, it now takes the responsibility off of them for being accountable for their actions, and it makes you look like, damn, okay, like, she's just mad for no reason. The person doesn't even remember what they did. And then the third point would be that, what's the third point? Oh, the impact of you confronting them will not be as impactful if you wait. Like, it just kind of simmers out over time, so you won't get the accountability and the solution won't be as, it just won't feel as good. It won't feel as impactful to know that, okay, like, we solved this issue, like, we're over it and we can move on, because now it's already been like 2 months after it happened, and now you just kind of look weird bringing it up, because it's like, oh, and then on top of that, when you wait to bring things up, it makes it seem in the other people's eyes that you just hated them from the beginning, when that wasn't the case at all. And it makes it seem like you just, disliked them from the very start, and you were just harboring that, and that you always had ill intentions, and people can use that against you to create a narrative. So you always want to confront them when it happens. Alright, there. Now I'm done.